On Something to Talk About, Jackie Marotti of the Bank of Guam and Charlie Laron of Guam Cancer Care are my guests. We're going to talk about the upcoming Bank of Guam EFIT race. After 11 years, it has become more than just a run. This year, it's a cultural movement. That's what we're going to be talking about on Something to Talk About. Welcome to Something to Talk About. Of course, we're at King's Inn Mooning, and we have the lovely spread, fruit, and you know the routine. This is how we do it. Today, we're going to be talking about the 11th time that the Bank of Guam has done the EFIT 5K. And with us today is Jackie Marotti from the Bank of Guam and Charlie Laron from Guam Cancer Care. Hello, ladies.
Thank you.
Hello. Thank you guys for coming today.
Yes, thank you for having us.
So just pick on anything you want.
We
If-
will. Absolutely.
If it moves you, you know, this Kelaguen and everything, thank you to King's for always putting out a great spread. Wow, 11 years, huh? First,
Yes.
11 years that you have been
Yeah.
doing this, and 3 years that you've been the lovely...
This will be our fourth, yeah.
year that you'll be the
Yeah.
recipient.
Yes.
Yeah.
The sole recipient.
Yes.
And let me go
Yeah.
there for a second, because did you before have somebody to
We
adopt?
did have another nonprofit, and 5 years ago, and Guam Cancer Care is celebrating its 5th anniversary this June. About 4 or 5 years ago, we met Terry Quabo, who's the executive director, and he came to us. I was asking for some support and help. They were just a small little startup back then.
I remember we were doing
Yes,
interviews
yeah,
for back then.
really,
Yes.
really just starting up. But the mission and the vision of the group was so compelling that Lou just called and said, we have to do something for them. I said, great, we're having our 5K next year. Let's make them be the beneficiary. And ever since then, we've worked really hard to raise funds for Guam Cancer Care. They have taken care of all of our local cancer patients. And it's a great fit, Patty. It's just a great fit in terms of us and Guam Cancer Care.
Yeah, it made a lot of sense when you first announced that there was going to be the partnership. I have to ask you, Charlie, from the beginning, was it a struggle to get people to understand what the concept was?
Yes, and it is actually still, there's so many people on island that still don't know about Guam Cancer Care or what our missions are. So we're really always out there doing health fairs in the community, in the schools, to let them know if there's anybody on island that is diagnosed with cancer, please avail of our services, whether or not you have insurance, whether or not you have supplemental insurance. We have so many services that was developed to help the community and what was needed. And the great thing about being a local organization is that we can tweak our programs to fit what is needed at that time or in this year, or what we feel that our cancer patients are letting us know that they need.
So at
Yeah.
the very beginning, you had a basic knowledge of what the needs were.
Yes.
And back then, when
Yeah.
we're talking about 5 years ago, even 6 years ago, when everyone was sitting around discussing the concept, you had a pretty good idea based on everybody's kind of personal experience and knowledge of taking care of their own loved ones, right?
Yes,
Is that-
exactly.
So it was sort of
Well-
a very raw, very bones sort of need.
Exactly. How it was formed, and the programs actually came aboard every year,
Yeah.
every 6 months,
Yeah.
a new program would open up. The first and foremost was the navigation team, and that's where you have our founders. And Ellie Ongrong, Oline Rhodes, Terry Quabo, they're still here, and they are one of the founders that developed this program because they saw a need. Ellie at that time with Christine, who's one of our founders who is now in the States, and Oline had worked for a local cancer center.
Yeah.
And there wasn't any services on island, and they were actually doing this on the side for their cancer patients, and realized that this is a program that is a need for Guam and an organization that needed to be
Yeah.
funded or find funding, donations, but it was a need for Guam.
Yeah, and it was what was really interesting about it is that everybody knew someone or in their family or friend.
Absolutely.
Cancer on Guam was so prevalent. And it was amazing that we had no idea what we were doing with so many people.
For so many years.
Yeah,
Yes.
for so many people, so many years
Yeah.
who had had experiences with cancer patients. No one had a manifesto or a document on how to get through
Checklist.
the system. And so the fact that that came in, that was one of the basic services.
Yes, that was
and then,
one of the-
And then how did you start adding other services on?
So it started with navigation and financial assistance
Yeah.
because that was the core of the program. Later on, cancer screening and prevention came along 1 year after because they realized that 90% of the patients coming in were coming in at stage 3 and 4. And so we needed to make some form of impact in education and outreach and screening, bring up the screening rates on island in order for our patients to come in at stage 1 and 2 so that the survival rates are even higher or not come in at all would be even better. 6 months after that, we had our patient transport program was launched. And then our cancer outreach and education just branched off from our cancer screening and prevention. And Karina mans that one, and that's actually going out to the schools, our elementary schools and our high schools on island.
Gosh,
Yeah.
is there any more you can add?
And just last year, our cancer support group, so our navigation team decided to take the lead on that and see what our cancer patients need and have this intimate gathering where they can talk to other cancer patients and see and kind of gather ideas of what they did and what works for them and just have this camaraderie of knowing that they're warriors and they're in this fight against cancer together.
Well, that's interesting because the camaraderie in the form of the Bank of Guam
Yes.
is,
yeah.
is a blessing to be able to capture the attention of such a generous donor.
Absolutely.
I'm sure has catapulted you into an area you probably might not
Absolutely.
have otherwise been able to do as quickly as you've done it.
Yes, absolutely.
Without
Yeah.
a doubt, though, Patty, when we first met up with the Guam Cancer Care folks before they got as large as they are, it was very clear to us that this group was very committed, deeply passionate about what they were doing, and they just continued to grow and expand. The transport program, being able to transport patients, every time they identified a need, they assured that it was covered. So I think the partnership has been really good. We have, worked again on EFIT for the EFIT 5K. Our bank also was a big sponsor of the transport program, as well as Pink Ball, which is going to be coming up in August, and many other programs, Strides for the Cure. They work really hard to get as much funding as they can, and I think as a sponsor of so many different events, this group comes in and shows up all the time. So they're working partners, not just recipients.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Tell me how personal it has become, because I think behind every effort like this, there's a personal motivation that drives all of us into helping each other. It's not about the money. It's not always about it's not always about the community. Sometimes it is very, very intimate, and I know we all have intimate stories.
Yeah, I actually came
Excuse me.
aboard for Guam Cancer Care. I lost my father 10 years ago to cancer, and at that time, I'm the only one on island. I was his caretaker. All of our families live off island, and it was a very difficult time going from a daughter to a caretaker and having that struggle of changing hats and not knowing what I should be, and then finding the care that he needed. And I really had to pick up the phone, make some calls. And I really, really wished at that time that Guam Cancer Care was up and running, because the navigators, this is what they do.
Yeah.
They have all the information, they can navigate through their cancer treatments, they can answer very simple questions, and they become part of your extended family. And they offer supplies and services that you feel so overwhelmed, of course, as a patient, but of course, as a caretaker, not knowing what you can do for your loved one.
Yeah.
So when they needed help to open up a cancer screening and prevention program, and I found out the services that they had already, I had to join. I had to be a part of this group.
Yeah.
I had to let other people know this is a wonderful organization, and I'm glad I joined the team. It's a
Yeah.
hard-working team.
Yeah, back then it
Yeah.
has been. Anybody who's ever been a caregiver for somebody
Yeah.
who's had cancer, because so many people had cancer, or we've known of so many people, it was difficult even then to find, to even to even want to speak to somebody about the
Yes.
services that they were getting, because a lot of it was, you know, it's very personal, very personal.
It is,
But
yeah.
for the Bank of Guam, though, I'm sure that Lou saw the value in streamlining what was definitely with her, you know, medical background. But you did more than just become a vehicle by which to build the relationship. You actually joined the organization.
got on board. Actually,
Yeah.
I remember it was after our first 5K run, and we had a kind of a thank you lunch. It was at another restaurant, and I said, you know, I want to join your board. I think you guys, you have a great mission, and certainly after, you know, the passing of both Mr. LG and Tony, those were very close to us, very close to our Bank of Guam family. We have had since then, unfortunately, many employees who have had to seek treatment. And so that speaks to us because our families, whether we work with them or they're caregiver, they become caregivers as well, that becomes very, it touches everybody,
Yeah.
no matter what, because we feel their difficulties.
Yeah. You have also stood behind pretty much every remarkable month that has been set aside for a particular cancer, particular type of cancer. Colorectal
Yes, yeah.
cancer is the
Recently.
highlight, awareness is the highlight of
For this
this
month,
month.
yeah.
And we had a bit of a conversation about how colorectal cancer is not a male disease.
No, it's not.
And a lot of
Yeah.
women believe that doesn't apply, and they
Yeah.
find out that it does
Does.
apply.
Yes.
And there is a little bit of an intimidation when it comes to the education of it.
Yeah.
To let women know that this certainly can afflict you.
Yes, and on island, it's actually the number 4 cause of death for women on island and number 3 for men. And one of the biggest things is colon cancer is one of the things that's very preventable. And through screening, changing your diet, but really through screening, because they can catch the cancer very early on, but unfortunately when it gets to stage 3 or 4, that's when it becomes very aggressive.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so it's very clear. It is a preventable disease. We'll talk a little bit about that for sure. But did you get yours? That's the question you have to ask everybody in a certain
Yeah.
age group in your little community. Did you get yours, which is a colonoscopy?
Yes.
Did you get yours? It's a personal question, but it has to be answered.
Critical.
Yeah, critical, very indeed. All right, we're going to take a quick break here, and really the turn of the conversation will be about the 5K, the EFIT run. Oh, there's a
It's
lot
big.
to this. I'm
Yes.
looking forward to that.
It's big.
We'll be right back. Welcome back to Something to Talk About. We're talking about the EFIT run. The 11th annual Bank of Guam does this every year, and every year there's another element of surprise. The cat was out of the bag on Facebook. There was an incredible video. I didn't see the entire thing, but I caught a glimpse of it because I wanted to sit down and enjoy the moment rather than see parts of it as I was scrolling up and down Facebook. What a moving and very timely production that is. Talk to me about how that came about.
It really was no accident. As you know, and I need to kind of plug my bank again.
Do it, girl.
We're a Laddie sponsor for FestPac. And with that coming up, and also this kind of starts our countdown to our 45th anniversary, which is next year in March. And so we wanted to do something that was much more cultural than we've done in the past. And we decided we wanted to own a cultural run moving forward. What does that mean? That means the experience with the 5K run, and as much as it can be anywhere from 16 minutes to 45 minutes, was really an experience that we wanted to our runners to feel. In previous years, what really distinguished us from others was that we had bankers who were along the route. There were cheering people all throughout the route, which runners loved because it just got them going. We had lots of cultural music, but this time is going to be really different. And I think not only the commercial, but also some of the posters and print media you're going to see really lends itself to a very, I call it primal.
Yeah.
it's a very primal feeling because one of the things you'll notice, no one says anything about a run. No, you don't see runners really until the end. And the whole feeling with the percussion and the drums is very basic. It's very natural, instinctive.
Yeah.
And I keep going back to the word primal.
Yeah.
It's a very primal feel. And we're looking to transport some of that into the actual 5K that morning. I can't go into all of the details,
Are you
but
guys going to not wear clothes? That would be a draw.
You
on
will
it
need
as
to
a-
come to see.
Yeah, okay.
it'll be all.
like
You better come to be able to see it and to feel it because it's
Well,
really a lot of it is feeling.
And as I understand it, it is more than just what's going to be. You guys, can I just say
Go
that
ahead.
there has been rumors of like a mass sort of production that is being crafted and coming together quite nicely
The
in
production?
the lobby of the bank or inside the main branch. There are like little moles in the building. You know,
See, that's what happens when you're in the building.
You're in the building with a group of journalists.
Yeah,
Tattletales,
and there's just
Yeah.
there's a
So
story
we're-
behind everything.
Yeah,
But
so
yes,
you guys have something really. The employees, are you involved too, or is it?
We have our own little, but it's
Okay.
it's all Bank of
Yeah.
Guam.
So Bank of Guam
there will be
employees are
something.
putting together
There will be
their own
something.
presentation.
Yes, there will be again. It's going to be a very moving, very cultural part of the event. We are very proud to be working with a lot of small local companies that will be displaying their products. We have, Farm to Table is going to be there. We have Amut Farms. We have some people who are going to be doing some juicing there. We have a small company that's doing orthotic inserts. We're just so happy and so proud to feature these local small companies that can show the rest of the running community that a lot of things can be done and can be provided here.
Well, what's interesting, it almost sounds like a run/fair. It's like, oh, and then there's a run that goes along with this event, right? I mean, it feels like a second thought because there's so much more of the production.
Well, the production as well, again, going back to kind of the feel, the commercial will bring you there, is how we're going to get the run started, how it's going to keep itself going throughout the route. We will have dancers, we will have entertainers, but it's really going to be a different feel than something that you haven't seen anywhere else. Only because we've done 11 of these, and it's very different and difficult to come out with a unique experience. This is definitely going to be a unique experience, and if you're a runner, whether you're a recreational runner or you're an elite runner, you need to come to this run because the feeling you're going to have at the end of it is, again, very primal, and you're going to feel like this is the most natural thing to do.
Interesting. And I think tied into the landscape of FestPac, which is, drumming up support and drumming up enthusiasm for FestPac is now sort of in its final chapter. We're ramping up to May, and it's really not that far away.
Not at all, and you're right, it's just around the corner. First time ever hosted here on Guam. We don't know in our respective lifetimes whether we're going to see it again, and so we need to take full advantage of this opportunity to showcase what we have, but also to go and attend the different events because we have roughly 27 nations coming, about 3,000 to 4,000 delegates. We want to welcome, we want to share, we want to exchange, and we want to come away from that feeling very enriched. And
do you guys have like a logistical role to play in this?
We're a Laddie sponsor.
Right.
As you probably have seen, one of the first things that signified that was our mobile ATM. We were the only ones that have it, and the wrap got completely redone. That was kind of our step. So it's a very cultural and beautiful wrap for an ATM. We are sponsoring the messenger bags that all of the delegates are going to be wearing. We have started having our FestPac Fridays, and we have various master cultural practitioners. We had a weaver. We're going to be having blacksmithing. Come into the lobby every Payday Friday. Annette Nungef Pagu is the next one on March 11th, the day before. So we're working a lot on making sure that our employees are very aware of what's going on, as well as our customers.
The whole theme that you guys have adopted for this particular event, I think is actually gonna can be carried over. You
Absolutely.
can really extend and really get your money's worth on all of the the bling that you put out for it. Yeah.
In fact, Patty, we have gotten, you need to come really to see it.
Yeah.
We've started inside the branch. We have new flags. We will be featuring a lot of the branding of the 5K run because we've done a very strong branding of this, not only in the bank but certainly outside and throughout because we have a number of events coming up. So we fully expect to be out there.
So what's your role in the run, Charlie? What are you guys gonna do? I mean,
We've actually, we are always part of the committee, and it activates all of our team members. But we help with the volunteering. We help with Eventbrite because this is an online registration as well. Bank of Guam was the very first race to actually have online registration. We help with that. We help with anything logistically on the day of. We are the backup team.
you are the runners
Yeah.
and the people.
We're the
I mean,
backup
runners
team.
as in running errands.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
We couldn't get this done without Guam Cancer Care and without their help and support throughout these years. They've always helped to ensure that it's a successful event.
tell me about the specifics of the run real quick.
Okay, March 12th, Saturday, 5:30 a.m. Show, 6 a.m. go down in the Hagåtña parking lot. Again, online registration, 5K EFIT at eventbrite.com.
EFIT 5K.
EFIT 5K.eventbrite.com.
Yes.
And it's $10, $35 for a family, $20 day of.
What's the route?
The route it's a flat route. It's probably the fastest in Guam. There are no hills. Derek Mandel holds the record for that. Just under 15 minutes, so it's a very fast route. It's great for runners. It's a really fun race. It's very safe. We have about 11 to 12 security officers around who'll be patrolling the area. So again, we're looking. Our 5K run shirts are unbeatable.
Okay.
They're just going to be amazing.
Well, there it is.
There it
There
is.
it is.
You
Yeah.
have to
Yeah.
come. I'll tell you, if just for the shirt, come for the shirt because you'll be spotted far away and people are. It's just such an attention grabber.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I'm glad to have had you guys.
Thank you.
very
Yes.
much.
Thank you for
coming
having
and
us.
enlightening me about the event. I know more about it now than I ever had, and I hope that you have. Well, we would like to show you a little bit of this great production that we've been bragging about in the show. I hope that you enjoy it, and I also hope that you'll participate. Thank you for joining us. This is Something to Talk About.